I'm just gonna get some different batteries.
Well, I didn't see you. Oh, you done nine. All right.
You're probably gonna have fun now, but. We know I got that over. Yes.
Have you been over sheriff's office?
Not today, rest of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, he was talking about, I said, "Was Scott?" No, and they started talking about voting in and doing sheriff's stuff, and I thought he was talking about.
Oh. All over the place.
Yeah.
Over there.
Hey there, how are you doing, Haley? Good to see you again.
Miss Haley, you doing all right? Yeah, appreciate you coming up.
No, I'm close.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you, appreciate that.
So did you get your person hired? You said you were interviewing.
I was making sure.
Southeast, okay.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Chad here? Oh, yes, sir.
No, he's on a plane, I think, coming back to Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. So I'm getting that money for the truck. Get done on Saturday. I mean, on Wednesday. You still got to put it on the agenda to permission to buy that truck from that same. I can get it.
You can get a PO. That's only the thing. Yeah, I mean, we'll approve it all.
So I can improve. That's gonna be an agenda.
Yeah, you gotta get it on the agenda about now.
Perfect. But the truck ain't there.
It's in the ground.
The truck's not
It will hold the truck.
with the PO. I got to do it through Wednesday.
Well, but you know, you got. What you got, third.
Oh, I've already asked you. It's gotta be that long. Maybe it'll be ready. Still there.
If you get on that, you said he wouldn't be able to zoom in, is it more that one?
Yeah.
All that is- You can't,
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. Commissioner LaBrad is on an airplane coming back from Virginia after reviewing the L3 Harris equipment. So, general announcements. Are there any announcements? All right, public comments. We have 3 people signed up for public comments. 5 minutes each. First one is Ronnie Jones, who wishes to speak on agenda item 3, which is public comments, or item 4, which is discuss the whole reason we're having this meeting is administrative leave policy. So go ahead, Ronnie.
Okay, I want to speak on special meetings and gatherings and everything else that's going on right now. Back in the old days, when the people could talk, when they got up here for their 5 minutes, they could say what they wanted. But you could also address an issue if it came up during the meeting. We can't do that anymore. So you have to guess what you're talking about. In this case, we're talking about something that should have been taken care of with the sheriff's department and the judge and the commissioners before we ever got here to a special meeting to find out what's going on. It has to do with a policy that's been in existence for many years, and all of a sudden it's a big issue. And we have to change the policy. We keep changing policies that were written before. We can start with the Declaration of Independence. That goes back far enough. But that would be stupid too, just like I think this is being stupid. But that's the end of what I have to say. But we have more special meetings than we have regular meetings of commissioners. But regular commissioner meetings, you can't speak after the public portion. But it should be open to the public. That's what the whole meeting was. People used to spend 2 and 3 weeks up here as commissioners back in the old days. Now we try and get out of here in 15 minutes. And sometimes you can't do that unless you have a closed door session. Which kind of you did when we had a gathering and we had 2 commissioners and a judge there. That made a quorum of the commissioners court. Even though no business took place. The way I read the law, and Austin has interpreted the law, that's a violation of the closed door. You cannot have a quorum of the commissioners court in one meeting place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Next, we have Sandra Jones, who wishes to speak on item number 4, because it's the only thing we can speak about.
Yes. I don't know why we are having so many special sessions. It's like back on September 27th, we had a regular meeting. The next day we had a special meeting. Why couldn't we have that special meeting on the day of the 27th? Why do we have to have so many special meetings? It just doesn't make sense to me. And to find out what they're all about, I haven't been able to find out either. So that's what I have to say. I think there's too many of them being called. It's like trying to hide something from the public. It's not just me saying that, it's other people saying that.
Thank you so much for your time, Mrs. Jones. Next, we have Faith Colrin to speak on item number 4.
I'm Faith Carr out of precinct 3, and I'm going to agree with them. Special session again. I spoke last week on the 22nd in a regular session for an item on the 17th that was tabled. That should have been. Why are we having special session? What's the need? Is there an emergency? How many of us had to get up, come over here to have a meeting? Is it necessary? There was no time. I found out an hour and a half ago at most to even research and know what's going on. We don't. So have you guys even had time to really look at it? Is it necessary to have all these special sessions? And I'm going to agree. What's going on? What are you trying to keep the public out of? As far as Mr. Ronnie Jones, addressing the laws. There are some legislations that we should be able to address and converse more in the meetings, and I'll bring that to you later.
Thank you very much. All right, that is all the public comments. We will move on to item number 4. Discuss, consider changes in the administrative leave policy, employee handbook per the request to the sheriff. So I'm gonna let Sheriff Carter start us out.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. We had a situation come up last week where myself and the captain, chief deputy, we're looking into an issue, just HR issue we're dealing with in regard to administrative leave. If we have to, and this could extend past law enforcement, we have to look at this. Would we put an employee on leave, investigative leave? So we're getting a complaint and on investigative leave. Like our deputies work a 12-hour shift. Current policy says right now they're limited to 20 hours at least per year for administrative leave. If we have to put them on leave for more than 2 days, on the second day by the completion shift, they're 24 hours. So they're going to be 4 hours of administrative leave. We've had to place them on leave, and like I said, it wouldn't just necessarily be a law enforcement employee. It could be an employee in any of the county offices. If some allegation was made, they had to be investigated. They're placed on leave, sent home on paid leave until the investigation is completed. The 20-hour leave is got it limited on what we can do. And we'll see if there's anything we can do on that policy to amend that.
All right, when Sheriff came to me with this issue, and I began doing some research on it, and I contacted Haley with TAC. She is an HR consultant that knows all things human relations and resources, and she provided me with we were talking about what we have discovered is that the admin time that we have in our handbook was designed for inclement weather days. It was designed to give people who either we shut down and they couldn't come to work or they weren't able to come to work to get paid because they couldn't work. That's what it was designed to do. Actually, we had no admin time in our employee manual as far as we know before COVID. We haven't verified that. We're working on that. The admin leave time that is required and what the sheriff is talking about is related to doing an investigation on an employee issue. Whether or not, for an example, for an officer shoots somebody, they're typically put on administrative leave until the investigation can be completed and they can be cleared, and that's determined. But that's not just for the sheriff's department, but you could have a clerk that handles money that has an allegation made against them. They would be put on administrative leave while they are investigated or their process is investigated. You could have somebody from the road and bridge department who gets in an accident in a vehicle, and that needs to be investigated. And so they're put on it's administrative leave as opposed to administrative time. And we don't have anything in our documents related to administrative leave time. And so that's why, and so that's what sheriff is trying to abide by our current employee manual of the 20 hours. And it's really not designed for what he needs to do is not in our manual. It's not set up. And we need to research that. And Haley gave us a sample policy, and then she provided a whole bunch of attorney general opinions. And I'm of the opinion we have to do a drastic change, but I can't make that decision, and I didn't have time to get it to everybody for them to investigate. So I have put an agenda item on next Wednesday's workshop to discuss administrative time and administrative leave. So, but what we need to do is to come up with a plan for the sheriff to be able to provide administrative pay to the employee that he's had to put on keep from work in that time frame during their investigation. And I think if we could do that for today, then we can get into the details, and I can get you all the details that you can look at yourself if you want to understand what we need to do. So that's, I believe where we're at.
Are you saying continue with his regular pay while he's on administrative leave?
Right. And that is pretty routine with every government agency when they have to do that. Because they're not you know, part of the situation is it could be that the drug test is not could not come back in timely fashion. And you don't want to the employee to come back to work until the drug test has been reviewed, the results have been reviewed.
Just for general knowledge, can you put someone on administrative leave without pay?
Yes.
Yes. And this is one of the things that I saw in just the first opinion, Attorney General opinion that I read, and is that it's totally up to the elected official who's over that employee to make that decision. It's not up to the commissioner's court.
Well, that makes sense.
So, but we have, you know, we've established in our policy administrative time, and that's what the sheriff is going by, what's in our policy. But this really isn't part of administrative time, and we need to clarify that to him, or clarify what we're trying to achieve with administrative time and how elected officials should handle the administrative leave that's available.
And let me add one thing to that too, in reference to the non-paid administrative leave. There's certainly be time for that would be appropriate. But when we receive allegations, I did this for 11 years in my previous career, 10th part of my life, I worked in internal affairs. We received allegations in, but we found the vast majority of those investigations were either unfounded or not sustained. They didn't occur the way people said they did. Our employees were correct in what they did. In fairness to them, until those allegations are looked into, until they're properly investigated, it's fair to the public, employee, fair to the public as a whole, to our office, that those employees placed on paid administrative leave until those get completed. And understand, I've been doing this for 40 years. February 1st, I made a very good career off of living off taxpayer dollars. I don't believe in wasting those dollars, paying people to stay home, but there's times it's certainly appropriate to try to move forward as fast as we could on any investigation we did.
Yeah, but we don't, why can't the sheriff just use his opinion on what he needs to do until we have this workshop, and then commissioner's court on what we're gonna do on the policy, just let the judge.
We need
the
the
sheriff
commissioners to make that motion. You want to make that motion?
The commissioners have to make a motion on what the sheriff can do.
Well, he would prefer it in that regard until we get it clarified.
Well, unfortunately, Judge, we're in a bad situation here because it was not placed on the agenda to approve this employee's time. It was placed on the agenda to talk about leave. So we can't talk about the employee's time. And the policy is going to take a whole lot more time to work out than what we have today. So this is the only option you have today, Judge, is for the sheriff and Kenny to work this out, and then we'll have to place it on the agenda to ratify the gentleman's time or something other on next week. But by law, we cannot discuss approving this gentleman's time today because it's not on the agenda that way.
But we could make it part of the policy that we could approve, that the policy would state that the sheriff could make that decision, correct?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think any elected official should be able to make that decision.
Not even coming to commissioner's court, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's
well-
what they're elected for,
Yeah, that's what I say. They don't need to come to commissioner's court.
right?
They're elected
No.
officials.
Do I? I'm correct, okay.
That's the autonomy of the office of the elected official.
Right.
So,
So it's just up to the sheriff what he wants to do, and then in commissioner's court, the workshop, and then in commissioner's court, we have the workshop over the handbook policy. And then when we get it all worked out, we bring it in commissioner's court and say, hey, this is what we've done.
We can fix it for next time, but this time it's gonna take, I believe it's gonna take the sheriff and Kenny to work this out. Because the sheriff is the supervisor over the situation. That's my opinion. We've got, Doc, and we've got a lawyer sitting over there that could instruct us.
Let's just blame a lawyer.
Right.
So, but I believe you're right, Commissioner Pearson, because of the wording we put in the agenda, we're talking about changing the policy and not about making an exception to the policy or allowing that. So, and it would just be up to the sheriff to work with Kenny on that regard. So, I don't see that there's no motion or no action that needs to be taken.
Anything, Kenny, anything that you charge a person's time to can always be reversed at a later date, can it not?
Yeah, that was my concern. With all what you're talking about doing next Wednesday, of course, your payroll will be done by you. I'll have to make a decision.
Saturday night,
We'll have
that's
to make
cut
a
off.
decision. That's what I don't know who the guy is, I don't know what's happening in town, I ain't looked at it. Just saying, unfortunately, we'll have to make a decision before next Wednesday. The payroll will already be done Tuesday to be ready for your approval on Wednesday. Okay, there's no way I can make it. But like you said, we're get somebody here.
the sheriff has already made the decision, and he's already put the person on administrative leave with pay.
Right.
And we don't have any authority to say this or that on that.
20 hours a year, I don't know.
And that's-
I don't know who the guy is, I don't know, I keep a ledger of how much admin team they get. Once they get up to 20, then they have to come before you. So I'm just saying, I don't know who this person is, I don't know if they're even on there, but what if I pull that name up there? That person had 20 hours on it. Then that gets into the issue, but what you're saying is we're gonna work it out this time. We're gonna have to work it out. And I probably don't even have it now, it's probably not an issue, I don't know. I haven't looked at the time sheet, I don't know what we're talking about. We're just gonna figure out what to pay it. And we can do that this time. That's what you're saying.
And that has nothing to do with the commissioner's court.
Right. I'm just saying. I'm going to pay it before next Wednesday, if you actually down the city, we'll just have to do it.
Well, part of the admin time policy states that anything over 20 hours has to go before the commissioner court.
I don't know where this person is in that. You know what I'm trying to say.
What we could, this is Thursday, probably the proper way to do this, contrary to the way some people feel about special sessions, is we should have a special session before next Wednesday, just to approve the way the sheriff wants to pay this down. And get that behind us, and then we'll address the policy after that. In your workshop that we've got.
But
So
we can't do that today because it's not an agenda,
we
right?
didn't post it in an agenda that way. So, and so that's, you'd have, Tuesdays, would it clear for Tuesday? So, yeah, it's clear for, you gotta have 72 hours. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you could do it on Monday.
Can we?
So that would be my suggestion, that we close this meeting. We have a special session on Monday with the agenda item to discuss the sheriff's employees' time on who it is. And I personally would do it in an executive session because there's some things touchy about it. So,
Right now, the policy we have is really illegal. You know, it's worthless.
as far as administrative leave, it is.
That's what I'm
Or
talking about.
administrative time.
Yes.
And it's always the policy, administrative time policy's always been there. We altered it during COVID because it got taken advantage of. We changed it to where you could only give 20 hours a year because there was employees getting a whole lot of time. And so the previous commissioner's court that myself and Mr. Melton was part of we changed it to 20 hours a year. I agree with you, Judge, we need quote unquote an administrative leave policy, whether it's paid or unpaid, that's strictly up to that supervisor. But we do need to build that policy,
Okay,
in a workshop.
well, let me just correct you. We went back to 20 hours this fiscal year. And it was this commissioner court that made that decision. It was changed to, or is either implemented or changed to 80 hours when COVID started, during COVID. We don't know at this point in time whether or not there was actually administrative leave policy in the manual.
Yes, sir. There was, and you're correct. We changed it to 20. We had to change it because by law, we had to let people off more during COVID. So we temporarily changed it, and you're correct. It went back to the 20
Right, this year,
now.
this fiscal
But
year.
the previous court set it to 20, but COVID made us change it for a time that because there was people, it didn't make any difference. If some supervisors were giving people off all day long on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and other times. And so the court changed it to 20 hours per year, but we had to change it again temporarily during COVID.
Do you have some recommendations on how to word this?
Yes, sir. I provided this morning to Judge Reese. It was my fault that you guys did not do that in time. I did contact you this Tuesday that I was in Boston in meetings, however, so I was not able to get that to you because of the turnaround time. So I will take the link for that one. You guys don't have that. But yes, there does need to be a clear delineation between what you guys are calling administrative leave with or without pay and what you guys are calling admin time. And I think what clear delineation also be that elected officials have the autonomy and office, any elected official can come in to allow their employees to use administrative leave for as much as they want, for as little as they want. That is the autonomy of the officers. I provided, I think it was 7 AG opinion letters this morning to Judge Reese in support of that from the Attorney General. In addition, supervisors as in Jessica, who is not a elected official, she is just the HR director, not the she is the HR director. She cannot give Emily admin time without coming to the court and requesting that you guys. So there does need to be a delineation in that policy that says, you know, if you don't work for an elected official, the commissioner's court would have to either set a threshold per year or improve it as. And I do not mind coming back and you guys in the workshop. I don't know the environment.
But it's on the agenda for the
So-
6th.
So what you're saying, Kenny, is Joe Carter has the authority to tell you this guy will be off with pay.
That's
And
what
that's
I've been saying.
it's all settled.
On what you said a while ago, Keith, I kind of do agree with Jones and Faith. Why don't we have to do it on Monday? If they can work it out, let's just do it all on Wednesday.
You don't have to now. With what she just explained, I'm on
Okay.
target with you.
Okay. So. we
Make a
will
motion with
do-
adjourn.
All right. Motion made to adjourn is a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
All right, motion, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Haley, thank you for coming up today.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
yeah, very helpful.
Thank y'all.
You bet.
Thank you, guys.
We will have a regular commissioner court meeting next Wednesday at 9 a.m. and a workshop at 10:30.